Hello and welcome back, my beautiful people. After enough teasering, in this video we will finally implement some CSS for our HTML code to make everything look beautiful. Yeah, let's dig right into it. So, before we can implement some CSS, we need to implement our base structure of HTML, because we only can use CSS if we have some HTML tags. So, make your exclamation mark, hit the enter button, and we are almost ready to go. Then, as I mentioned last time, we use a div as a container, and in there we will put in a paragraph. And as we are lazy and don't want to write anything, we go to our browser, check in here, make the lorem ipsum generator, simply put in lorem ipsum. It's a German website. Oh, it's even an English website. I'm an idiot. I linked you last time the German one, but this time I will link you again and you get the English one. We check for 100 words, for 10 words only. Copy this, go back to our index.html and put in the text. So, save it, go to your browser. We can close this right now. I will open a live server, open with live server again, and we can check it. And as you're seeing it right now, it's pretty ugly. Yeah, because we know there's no CSS involved. So, first of all, we have 3 possibilities to implement CSS. I will first show you 2 ways which you shouldn't use, and the third way is the way we will always use throughout the series, and you should always use if you have a web application or something like a project in general. I will only show you the other 2 versions because, yeah, that you have seen everything, but don't use them anyways. The first one is, we can put in here directly a style tag. For example, if we make color equals to green, then you see, yeah, the color of this text will be green. We go in here, you see it's green. This is the first way. Pretty ugly. The second way is much better, but not good enough. Therefore, we simply can put in here a style tag, and in this style tag we can put a P and some curly brackets. The P is a selector. If I show you the third way, then I will tell you how the selectors are working. And yeah, but simply now we copy this, check it out to see simply how this is working, and then in the final way I will show you everything. There you put simply your color is equal to green and make a semicolon. Check this out. We go in here and yeah, it's the same value. But these are the 2 ways we want to avoid. Remember, don't use them. We have a much better way. And therefore we get simply rid of this. We have our head in here. Oh, Dominic, what are you doing in here? Yeah, save it. And we create a new file, because we now have the possibility to have our CSS code packed in one file and the HTML code in another file. Therefore we call it styles.css, a pretty common name, which is empty right now. And now the question is, how can we use this file in our HTML code? There's this pretty simple thing. We can put in a link in here, and the link is CSS, which means we have a style sheet. The rel means what should be, what kind of type is this, and it's a style sheet. CSS stands for cascading style sheets, and it's a style sheet for styling our HTML text. And the href is the path to which we want to guide. You can, normally they call it style CSS. Yeah, I'm an idiot and called it style CSS. But you see, if you put in an S here, you get it, and you can put it in here, and you have the path in here to which your style CSS should go. And now we put in the P in here and have the same syntax as in the style tag. And there we can make the color, which is equal to green right now. Go in here and it's still green. And yeah, this is the way we want to go. remember this way, we have the link in our head. It's in our head. Make sure it's in your head because it should be initially loading. If you put it in the body, then all your text and UI elements will be loaded and then the style CSS will be loaded, which isn't good. The head text will be loaded initially, then our UI elements will be loaded and our styles will be implemented there. So put it in the head. You have a link, a style sheet, and your path where it should guide. Then we need to make sure to select something. This is a selector with the name of the tag. The normal tag name, if you have multiple paragraphs in here, like let's copy this one to see what is happening. If I copy this paragraph and put it underneath here again, and we check our website, then this selector selected every paragraph on our website. But yeah, maybe sometimes we don't want every paragraph looking the same way. Therefore, we have multiple ways of selectors. I mentioned them last time. We have classes and we have ideas. If you put in a class, like let's make the class of class, because we are pretty in here. And now you want to select the class instead of normal operator. The only thing you need to do is put a point before. Point always is for a class. And yeah, I called it class, but you can call it every other name. It should simply have a name. And the point in here, the point before the class name mentions that it's a class. Oh, we're selecting by a class, and then your CSS is looking for a UI element in the HTML with the class name class. Yeah, like this. And then if we go back to our website, we see, oh, only the UI element with the class of class is getting selected and gets the styles put on. Another way is we have an idea. Let's give the idea to the another one. And the idea is equal to some idea, because now you will see that it's something else. And how we select an idea. It's simply, we need a hashtag. I always call it hashtag here. Some idea, make the curly brackets to select it, and in this pass we make color equals to red. Like this, and you see they have different colors. And yeah, I didn't mention right now what our coloring doing, but yeah, I guess you got it. This, the first one, is what should be the, like what style should be changed, like the color of the font. And then after the colon, you put a value for it. You can work with RGB. Like if you want to have a red, we have RGB. RGB means, oh, this is even highlighting. You have the red, green, and blue values. We want a red of 255 because we want it red, then a 0 and a 0. This means we have a red value. Like this. So you can work with RGB, then with the names of the colors, and even with hex code. If you don't know hex code, we can simply check it on Google. Color hex. Each color has also a hex code. And therefore you have, let's agree this, for example, for red value. For this value, you have the RGB. Oh, let's take the high red. Oh, they don't get the full red. Yeah, the RGB is 255. You have many of red in here, a bit of RGB, a bit of green, and a bit of blue. Yeah, the name would be red, simply red. But the hex code is FF2D01. Let's copy this and put it in that you see, oh, it's even going with our with a hex code. Therefore, simply put a hashtag before it, then put the values, and they already know it's a hex, and you get your red. And now, you're asking, of course, why I'm using this div always. Let's make a class container. Why are we using this div? To see what is the div doing. And the div often is used as a container. If we put in a container in here, and make our curly brackets, because in here we can have our styles. put in a height. This height means the div should have a height. And there you can make either pixels, percent. The percent, we had the structure, like you have your div. If you look in here, if you have the div, and in here is our p. If you put in a percent, then the CSS will look, okay, you have, for example, your p, and this should have a size of 50%. Yeah, to what should be 50%? Then it looks for the outer element, like div, the next element, the parent element, and checks the half of the height of this. But our container has simply, it's directly in the body, so it has the parent as a body. And we want to have the whole height of our screen. And therefore it's cool. You can simply use 100 VH, it's a scale, and 100 VH is simply the size of your whole screen. Like if you check this, we simply don't see anything right now. But if you make a background color is doing what it's saying, of light gray, then we see our div for the first time. And you see, oh, it's a container. And yeah, it has the height of the full screen. You currently seeing I can scroll because we have one problem. This white background in here. And therefore, we have in CSS one possibility, because your website always has something like a basic styling, like a margin and a padding. If you check this, therefore, use Chrome, right click and use the inspect. Here you see, oh, it is a div. If you click on this, that's a cool thing. We can select in here something we want to see. And now if you check, for example, the paragraph. Each element on here has two things we can look at. This here. We have the paragraph, the element, which you see is 732 times 18 right now. This is the whole size of the text, because you see on the screen there's the blue thing. If I select it, there's the blue thing, and this blue box goes to the height of the font itself, but goes from the left to the right corner. Then you don't have a padding, no border, and the margin. And this margin are the orange things in here. The margin sees, okay, this is the spacing between the next element. Like we have a margin of 16 pixels above, so we have a spacing to our next paragraph of 16 pixels and beyond as well. There's a difference between the margin and the padding. That's what I want to show you right now. But first, I show you how you get rid of all the basic stylings. Therefore, you take the star, which selecting everything, the root element, and then you make a margin. Margin is the orange thing we saw right now, of 0, a padding of 0, which means also the padding. I will in a second show you what it's the difference between margin and padding, and a box sizing of border box. This, if you use this, we can check our website, get rid of this, and you see your website is now going to each corner of your screen. I can't scroll because now our div, we got rid of the basic stylings and our div is everywhere, and we have the basic stylings out of there. And now, if we want to check our div, our container, and let's give it a margin of 10 pixels to the top side to see what is happening. If we have a margin of 10 pixels, we see, okay, there's a white thing over here. And if you remember, the white thing was from the root element because we got rid of it. We can check it in the inspect mode and go to the div and see, yeah, this is outside of our current element. Then we put in a padding of 10 to the top to see the difference between it. Because this is a very important thing when you should use paddings and when you should use margins, because you really often use them. And now you see the padding. Oh, there's some spacing between the top of our div and the elements inside of it. So the padding makes the spacing inside your element, and the margin makes the spacing outside your element. So with the margin, you will shorten your element, and with the padding, you will either shorten your elements inside or put them a bit lower and have a margin. Like the padding is a margin inside, and the margin is a margin outside. Yeah, if this makes sense. Padding inside, margin outside. Yeah, simple as that. And now, yeah, we get rid of this because this looks pretty ugly. And then we have the other possibility. We have now our class and our sum ID. Therefore, I will simply show you something we can do. And in here we make a padding from top of 50 pixel. Yeah, of 50 pixel. And now the class was a paragraph on the top side. Now you think about what's happening if I put in a padding of 50 pixels in here. Yeah, to a paragraph, just like we take the element we are inside and put a spacing of 50 pixels inside. Then we can go back to our thing and see, oh, there's a padding of 50 pixels. Now we want to get rid of the second paragraph because this one's, yeah, is annoying me. We want to style this first one. Check it. Yeah, it's in here. Now, we want to make it more than 50 pixel, maybe make it 250. We want to get a bit lower and want to get it in the middle of our centering bar. Like from the left to the right, we want to get this text in the middle. Their CSS has a pretty cool thing. Now, first we change the color. We get rid of this, make 250 pixels of this, and there's a text align of center, which will center all your text. And yeah, it's in here. Now we see, oh, it's a bit little. We want to see it in much bigger. Therefore, we have the possibility of a font size and put this to 50 pixel. And it also was like a small font. Therefore, we can simply make a bolder font. There we can take the font weight of bolder. Check it. Ooh, it's looking much better right now. Yeah, and now I want to show you another trick, because you often want beautiful fonts. If you're seeing this, oh, this is the ugliest font I've ever seen. Yeah, therefore we have the possibility to go to Google Fonts. I will link you this because Google Fonts is your best friend for fonts. If we go to fonts, you check out the best font in the world, which is called Montserrat. And therefore we take the regular 400 because it's the regular one. This is all the possibilities of fonts you want. You're checking this out, and then you click on select the style. And then you can simply copy this link. You can copy both, but you can also simply copy only the lower link. Copy it, close it, and now go to your Visual Studio Code. And you know what we're doing with links? We're putting them to the head because it's CSS. And this, you see the rel style sheet says, oh, this is a CSS file. And the href is saying, oh, there's an online. If you go to the link. If I open this one, we see there's online only a CSS file from Google. Thank you, Google, for this free CSS. That's pretty beautiful. Then we link this, so we don't need to implement some CSS in here for us. And as easy as that, we can make a font family. There are some font families like this in there, but I don't like the default font families which are in CSS in there. And I love Montserrat. Montserrat, can I write correctly? This is the question of all questions. Double R. Montserrat. Ooh, I wrote it correctly. Applause for me. Thank you. And you have this beautiful font family right now. And this is the way which we using font families from Google Font. I know this was maybe a bit fast if you're a total beginner, but replay this video, you will understand it. To sum it up, we have 3 CSS possibilities. The first 2 I show you, forget it. Don't use them. The third one is the best one. Simply make your link and link it to an external CSS file. So we have some modularity, which is much better. Then the second one are the selectors. You have the possibility of points for classes and hashtags for ideas, and even like a P to get direct to the tag. And then I showed you some most common CSS styling guides you can use. In the next video, we will make like a little project with HTML, UI elements, and CSS to see how we're working at it. Because in the project, you will learn the best how to use them. And then, I swear to you, you will understand HTML and CSS. Hope you liked the video. Hope you are excited for more of this beautiful tutorial series. Subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. Thank you.